So hi guys, just a quick, I don't know, this is just a few of my favourite HFR or Super Slowmotion clips that I managed to take with the rx10 Mark IV while I've either been out or at family or whatever. Things from the helicopters to bumblebees flying to barn owls in flights and things like that. So enjoy the video. Any questions please ask, but I have done a couple of other videos about the HFR mode. But this is so cool. When you've got good light, nice sunny day, this is where it really shines. Yes, it's upscaled to HD, but in the right conditions it doesn't look too bad at all. And it basically just captures stuff that you can't see with the naked eye. Up to, I think it's 20 times or 40 times slower, depending on how much you tweak it as well. So I have slowed a few of these down even more than the actual frame rate like that. I've just slowed it down even more. But it still looks smooth and works quite well. So that helicopter was flying over a load of cut grass coming into land, which was kind of cool. Didn't expect that, but it was one of those moments of like, whoa, that's kind of cool. We all know that mobile phones have got up to 1,000 frames per second slow motion nowadays, but generally you haven't got 600mm and f4 lens to play with. So this is where the rx10 Mark IV comes into its own. Plus the quality is better by a considerable amount. I'm just hoping on the next version that they up the quality or more frame rate as well, so that'd be kind of cool. Here's a couple of cats actually playing. Looks pretty violent actually in slow motion, but they're actually playing. They're both brothers. Pretty funny, but he actually really chomps down on him a couple of times, and you're thinking, blimey, that must hurt. But play fighting apparently. Yeah, next couple of minutes later they're sort of laying down next to each other, absolutely fine. So here's one of them. We got him to basically jump into shot, shooting at f2.4 as he comes in like that, 500 frames per second. There you go, looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And you can just see the muscles and everything just sort of vibrating and moving. This is a bumblebee at 1,000 frames per second. It was brilliant, lovely sunny day. But you can actually see the rotation of the wings, which is kind of crazy. Just lucky he stayed in my depth of field, because otherwise he would have been out of focus. But he literally just went down and then back up. So really lucky on that. It is a lot of the time, especially if it's to do with insects or other animals, you are very lucky if you keep them where you want them, because obviously once you start filming, your focus is locked, your exposure is locked, everything like that. It's all preset until you push the record button or whatever, and then obviously once that's happened you can then unlock the camera and then obviously adjust things. But by that time obviously it's too late. But if you're lucky like this, which I was, it does look really cool. Yes, I wish it was 4K, but I haven't got £20,000 plus for a Phantom or anything like that. So the rx10 Mark IV does really well, considering obviously an all-in-one package. Works really well. You can get obviously the rx100 Mark series, especially the 6 and the 5 obviously do this really well as well. This is looking straight up about 25 feet up a tree, and obviously the bee there is in the blossom, so that worked quite nicely as well. Obviously these shots, some of these shots I've sped back up a little bit and slowed back down, so you can kind of gauge a little bit of speed and things like that. So kind of gives you, it makes the clips a little bit shorter, so otherwise you can sit there for ages waiting for things to happen. And then obviously things like down on the beach, water moving in and out. The only trouble I've found with water, especially on the sea when the sun's out, you do get some interesting artifacts or moray and things like that sometimes, especially when you're shooting into reflections. This isn't so bad because you can actually see a little bit actually as the wave comes in, sort of in the reflective parts of the water. But obviously it's to do with the frame rate and also to do with the pixelation and things like that. Obviously you're upscaling, so the actual detail isn't actually there, unfortunately, but it still does pretty well. It's just cool how you can, I mean in the real world this has happened, this wave's come and gone. On to the next one. These two dogs, it was really funny, they didn't anticipate that wave at all, not even realising it was coming. And then they have to just get whacked by it. It sort of wakes them up a little bit. It's quite funny. as it happens there. One's like, oh my god. The other one's just like, oh god, he just gets bushed and that's it. But it was quite funny. But they were loving it. Big shaggy dogs. It's quite funny. Everything from, I mean, you can do anything. I mean, anything you can think of that you can slow down. Obviously, raindrops you've seen me do before. This is just some lemonade going into a glass, but you can see down the bottom, obviously hitting a slice of orange or whatever's in there, and all the bubbles coming up, which is kind of cool. If you mess your exposure up a little bit, which I did there, you can see it was overexposed on the white bubbles. It's a bit difficult sometimes, but this is kind of cool with the water, the ice splashing the lemonade. To get the water droplets or the lemonade droplets splashing everywhere, which worked quite well. But it's just, I mean, you can really appreciate what's happening, like all the little bubbles like spraying out everywhere, still going out. Sometimes you see it on a Coke. If you pour a can of Coke into a glass, you can actually see them. In fact, you can hear them if it's quiet. Obviously an archery stand there, obviously an archery target. It's shot at 1,000 frames per second, and it's quite interesting to see how they fly past or they hit. But obviously you can see there where it's upscaled, the quality is not all that amazing. As you can see, they miss completely, but it's quite cool. It's just interesting to see because it happens so quickly. I don't know how fast an arrow travels, but obviously quite quickly. So the fact you can slow it right down is kind of cool. And then we had a really big storm one night, and I was thinking, can I actually capture lightning? Apparently you can. That was at 1,000 frames per second. I didn't do it once. I did it quite a few times. A complete guess, because I couldn't actually. Well, one, I didn't know where it was going. Obviously, lightning is extremely just random. But there was one cloud that I'd noticed seemed to be very active, so I kind of aimed in that direction quite a lot. And I just manually focused infinity and back a bit, and it seemed to work. So shooting at f5.6, something like that. There's a bluebird coming out of a hidden nest in a wall, and onto the barn owls. These are really cool. I did this last week, so this is almost a little bit of a teaser to a video that will be coming from our bit of day's work at the Kent Owl Academy, which is really cool. They do photography days and stuff like that. There will be some information coming about that if anybody's local to me and interested. This is really cool, just watching these animals in flight and doing their thing, and it was just awesome to slow it right down. But obviously, again, I've had to preset my exposure, which when they come out of the darkness into the sunshine, you can see it overexposes slightly. So there are a few difficulties occasionally that you have to kind of balance out and hope for the best. And then you can mess around with them, but I've just gone to black and white there, just a smooth graduation into black and white. Just because obviously trees look quite good in black and white, and the barn owl sticks out like a sore thumb. So works really nicely there. But as you can see, they're overexposed slightly as it goes right into the sunlight. But still relatively well dealt with. But yeah, that's it, guys. It's kind of just a bit of a throw together because I just was looking through some other stuff, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to chuck a load of my sort of favourite slow motion clips. One being the helicopter, I really like that. It was one of those moments of like, that's so cool. The bumblebee as well was really good. Yeah, so and the lightning, obviously I'd never expected to be able to capture that. The slow-mo guys did it at something like 100, no, I don't know if I think it was like 28,000 frames a second. So it just shows you at 1,000 frames a second you can do it. Anyway, guys, please subscribe, please click the notification bell, and I shall see you soon.